It means Everton are up to 15th in the table, level on points with the Hammers and Spurs on 27. Liverpool go 7 points above Arsenal, but it could have been 9, and I'm sure there is a big feeling of an opportunity missed.
Virgil, the derby, it was always going to be feisty. How do you sum that one up?
Yeah, listen, intense. It was always going to be intense. Obviously, a lot of battles, and I think obviously it's very disappointing to lose it. Obviously, in the last second of the game, or even over extra time. But yeah, listen, it is what it is. It's not easy to accept it, especially in the matter how. But we take it and we go on.
With the way the game ended, does it feel like a loss?
Yes, a little bit, I think, because I think it was over extra time. I think the inevitable is coming, but I think the referee had a big part in the game today in terms of certain challenges were given a foul and similar didn't. But in the end, it's just disappointing to concede in the last. A very good strike, actually, but a very disappointing one.
What did they do to make it so difficult for you out there? I
think they do the same things that they always do. They're very direct, fight for the first ball, second ball, and obviously we all know that this is their cup final, and they will try to do everything in their power to make it difficult and try and win from us. And we've seen it last year how difficult they made it, and this year you see them scoring in the end. It's obviously a big boost for them, but it's a blow for us.
Speaking of intense, just the final moments of the game, there were a few red cards out on the pitch. Talk us through what you saw and what you can tell us about what happened out there.
Obviously, they saw how they celebrated the goal. With all, they have all the right to. But I think Doucouré in the end wanted to provoke our friends. I think that was what I saw, and Curtis didn't think that was the right thing to do. And then obviously, you know what happens when someone is. When there was a little tussle, or how you want to call it. I think the ref didn't have the game under control, in my opinion. I said it to him. I don't know what it is, but it is a fact, and both teams had to deal with it. But yeah, listen, it is what it is. Like I said, take the point and move on.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
He said take a point and move on, but earlier in the interview he called it a loss at the end there. He didn't feel the ref had control of the game, Rio. I mean, you've just come down from the gantry up there. Is your head still spinning? Oh,
what a crazy... You asked us to give it in one word, like carnage, crazy. I mean, it was a fitting end almost, if you want us to leave in this place. A last derby here, last game under the lights. And to finish like that with all of the scenes afterwards, I mean, you're not promoting any like kind of angst and bad behaviour, but it was just loads of different narratives throughout the game that just contributed to a great spectacle and just showcased Premier League football in a way that you don't really see anywhere else in that sense.
David Moyes and Macca called it a throwback.
Yeah, it was. I said that on commentary. It's an old school football match, and there was grit, there was determination. In these games, these guys know better than me in a Merseyside derby. That these fans here won't allow you to kind of go in at 99%. Everything's got to be 100 mile an hour, full commitment, and we got that today. And there was moments of class when we saw the goals in this game.
And who says you have to win a game by playing beautiful football all the time? Get to your principles. We've always had teams that have upset the big boys by being aggressive and being long and fight and, pulling your shirt and standing on your toes. We've had that all. You do what you've got to do. Certain clubs have huge amounts of finances more than the others, earn 10 times more than others. Others have to get to that level. And whether it's you have a smaller pitch or don't water the pitch or you fight, that's what in a cat, isn't it? And sometimes you just have to get a result. And Everton done that today, and you can't necessarily have a go at them for what happened. This is what they had to do to get into this game, and they've done that.
Virgil van Dijk said he felt like Abdoulaye Doucouré provoked the Liverpool fans at the end. That kind of started that whole scrap off the pitch at the end.
He did.
And Curtis Jones then reacted.
You can't really defend what obviously they both have done. Obviously there's a lot of emotion going into the game. Obviously Doucouré is very happy to get the equaliser. Curtis Jones, local lad, He's obviously gone to defend his team, and as it stands, both of them will be without a player come the weekend.
Do you know what? I think going against opposition fans, I don't think it's wrong. I don't know. It's
well, the
hard
abuse
to say.
sometimes they give you, the abuse they can give you, it's a one-way streak. So I agree with you sometimes. As long as you're not going to, start a riot. The fact of the matter is, it is a local derby.
That's the problem. I think the difference is when it's a local derby, there's a difference. You don't like them. I get that. But then there's a respect almost there. And you know that you're lighting the torch paper if you go over near them. And that's what happened today. So that's where I think you draw the line. I think other games you can do that because it's a bit of banter. But this is a bit more when it's a Merseyside derby.
He's got 37,000 of his own fans to go and clap and cheer and celebrate with, to go over and antagonise. And actually, it was only going to end...
Have you never done that with opposition supporters?
Well, no, I don't think so at the end of a game. And also, you always know.
Just checking.
You always know that something negative is going to come out of it. And David Moyes has lost them. He played well today, but actually he's lost them now for the next game. So if they go and lose next game, what a stupid decision.
I get that, but sometimes it's emotion. Sometimes you want maturity, but sometimes in games like this where it means so much, again, this is the last game going to be here as a derby, you can understand why that emotion does overflow sometimes. But I was in a situation, I said it in commentary, Balotelli done this with the Man United fans at Wembley after a big game. I was incensed, I ran over, we got into a bit of a melee. So I understand what Curtis Jones is feeling and thinking in that moment. But again, it adds to the drama. We're here.
Talking point, isn't it?
So it has to talking point.
Arne Slot as well was remonstrating with the referee at the end of all that. He's got himself sent off at the end as well. His first experience of the Merseyside derby, Mako. You wanted cool heads.
There's one in 6 weeks' time. Wait till that happens at Anfield. I mean, that'll be brilliant. But yeah, he was incensed, wasn't he, with the equaliser. He thought it was a foul because you see him on the touchline. And I do think Michael Oliver lost control of the game today. I really do. I think a lot of the second yellows and the red cards were just, but I just didn't think he had a firm grasp of the game today, the occasion, the magnitude, how aggressive it was going to be. I did think he lost a little bit of control, honestly. But I mean, whether the manager thinks it was a foul or not, it hasn't been given, and the goal stood.
I think that's what he was alluding to there. He was. Pictures that we had were fantastic of him once the ball went in the net and his head fell off immediately. He was doing that with the shove. So he was obviously on the pitch trying to tell the referee, listen, how have you not seen that? But obviously there's a line, and Michael Oliver said, listen, you've gone past it and I have to give you a red card.
You were absolutely gutted in the second half, Phil, because it looked like Liverpool were going to take all 3 points. They got a point in the end, though, thanks to Mo Salah, who didn't have his best night, but that's what he is. He's a game changer, a goal and an assist.
Well, I think he got voted man of the match.
He did.
And he probably had 10 touches in the game, but so critical to this team. But I was devastated. I was walking down ready to do obviously the post-game comments, and I was sort of lost for words because Everton did exactly what they needed to do for the majority of the game, and we're losing 2-1. And I think we spoke about this goal. I think obviously we all agree. Sometimes you're going to get a shout from your keeper. He's got to leave it. Tarky. If he was to watch this now, the ball's not even going into anyone in the middle. It's the goalkeepers all day. You'd like to think Jordan shouted keepers. If you look afterwards, he looks very, very frustrated. But Johnny on the spot, it comes to him straight away, and it's never going to go anywhere else.
It's actually a really nice finish with his weaker foot, touch with his left, hit with his right, and as you said, it was fitting for Mo. He gets a goal and assist. He gets player of the match, and people talk about him. And unfortunately, everything at the end of it has taken over the results of the game. Liverpool got a good point today because it was a really tough game. They got a good point. They've gone 7 clear. It's still a wonderful position to be in. Liverpool the fans will be frustrated. They'll almost feel as if this was a loss tonight because of what happened. Sending off, last-minute equaliser, should it have been a foul, etc., etc. But actually, the 7 clear, they're sitting pretty. They got Wolves at home at the weekend. They just need to go there.
But then they've got Villa, then they've got City, then they've got Newcastle.
But everybody plays everybody, Linz, don't they?
Even with Arsenal's injury problems, will they be looking at that run of games that Liverpool have got, and will that just give them a little bit more hope?
I don't know. I see that this Liverpool team it looks ominous for everybody else. I think they've just got a real gritty side to them where they can come here. This will be one of the toughest games they've played this season in terms of away from home. What was critical for me was the 2 centre forwards that played today. Decore, obviously, is by trade a centre midfielder, but 2 boys up there against them. That could be a signal for other teams to make it difficult, go a bit more direct in these games against them, because you've got to put this Liverpool team under pressure. Otherwise, they just cruise. And when you've got outlets like Mo Salah, who's the most clinical man around at the moment, you can afford to sit back and chill a little bit and actually play in second gear.
Before we go, we've got to clear it up. Macca said it earlier. Yours was better, Phil. Yeah. Who's Merseyside derby?
He slices across that with the outside of his right foot.
What do you think, Rio?
I'd probably go for technique and difficulty, probably that one there. But importance and folklore, this one.
I'd agree with you, Rio.
Yours was for the draw, was it? Was yours for the draw? Exactly, yeah. So it was still draws.
His was technically later than mine. Mine was the 91st minute. His was 96th. But both got the same number on. I think we're both wearing the captain's armband, so I'll take it.
I think he had a better celebration than yours.
Yeah, mine was pathetic, but obviously Macca spoke about respect for your opponents.
Okay.
Something like that.
I understand it.
Phil, the final Merseyside derby here. What feelings, what emotions are you taking away from this?
Well, might speak to any of you after the game to be.
He was jumping on me over there in the tunnel,
running to the centre circle, trying to speak to Tarky. But that's what football does, especially derbies. And we've all spoke about the occasion. We've all waited a little bit longer due to obviously it being postponed. But it was a Hollywood ending, wasn't it? Yeah. It looked like it could have potentially been a foul in the last minute, but to have given that. You'd have had to have been a very, very brave man, and especially the way the game had gone. I don't think
it was fitting. It was a fitting ending, wasn't it? Going back in history and the dogs of war and all these separate occasions where we've gone through the decades of all the players who've graced this field. To have an ending like that, the last ever derby, you can't believe it how it went.
I don't think there was enough stewards in the building to have disallowed that goal. Do you?
A fitting, a massive victory.
Well, exactly like Macca said. If it was 1-1 and the game would have fizzled out, it would have been exactly the same result. But It was crazy at the end, and fitting end to obviously the last derby that'll be played.
That's what makes it even more exciting, the carnage at the end. We keep saying the word carnage and chaos, don't we? And the fact that it ended like it did with just a raft of yellow and red cards by Michael Oliver made it even more talking. There's the man in charge now.
Yeah, we can see David Moyes coming to join us now.
Good. How are you? Good to be back.
David, well done. What an end to that game. Now, when we spoke to you earlier this week and you were asked to describe the Merseyside derby, you said mental. I mean, how was that for you tonight?
Well, probably mental sums it up the way it went. Look, a brilliant finish for us to finish the last Merseyside derby and score in the last minute is in a way fitting. And we would have liked to have won the game, but when it was 2-1 down, I was thinking that we weren't going to get back in, as it just looked like Liverpool were going to keep us out. But I thought we worked hard, we kept at it. We probably had more attempts in the second half than we had in the first, but we just didn't maybe have the quality to get a good enough finish away. But Tarky did, which was the one that really mattered.
Absolutely, and his 100th consecutive Premier League appearance since signing for this club as well. Quite fitting that it was him to get that equaliser.
Yeah, I think after his game last weekend, I think he'll be pleased he got the goal. He scored a great goal tonight, and to score that goal, it'll be remembered in history as far as everybody, because Goodison's going to be going away shortly.
And you've had some memorable nights in that dugout. How did this one compare?
It was right up there, and it was great at the end. And I think the night was maybe made for something to happen. It wasn't the cleanest, it wasn't the best game of football you ever watched, but it was a wee bit of a throwback, a bit scrappy, both sides. It was more important that we probably made it that way. Liverpool are an incredibly talented team and are proving it in the league this year, so we had to find a way of sort of making that gap not so big tonight, and I thought we'd done a good job at it.
That's exactly what you said, Macca. It felt like a throwback.
It felt like an old school game. It was just blood and thunder and fight and aggression. It was brilliant to watch. I just wanted to ask you on a broader level, what have you actually changed since you've come in, or has it just been arm round shoulders,
don't give the secrets away, Gaffer. Don't give the secrets away.
You can tell me lies, it's okay.
The fact is, I think the players have responded really well in what they've done. We've actually made more chances, which was probably the thing at the start of the season. We've suddenly got a few chances. I mean, Beto's come in and scored the goal right away in the first half.
He was excellent tonight.
He scored two and for us earlier on as well. So that's really helped us. We're suddenly starting to get a few goals and creating a few more chances than what we had. But look, it's all praise to the players because they've done really well. And
do you feel more confident because they've got a couple of victories and they're now going on a nice run?
And actually, no. Look, we're trying to improve what we can. We're trying to play when we can, try to make things better. Tonight wasn't a night where it had to be that. We had to suit the stadium. We had to suit a lot of things in the game, and we did. We went a little bit more direct tonight, but it suited us.
Yeah, I think that's what you can tell. Obviously, I know firsthand exactly what Goodison requires, different things for different nights, and tonight, especially with Decore and Beto in front, that must be the toughest game their two centre halves have had all season. And you could tell the clearances weren't the same. They didn't perform nowhere near as good as Liverpool can, and I think you've got to put that down to obviously your boys out there. They did a great job.
They done a great job. Actually, both Beto and Doucouré done a great job against two top centre halves, to be fair, and in a team which has been playing really, really well. We done a really good job in getting something out of the game, because look, we could have come away here losing 2-1 and saying, hey, we played quite well and we were a bit unlucky, but we got it in the end, and the point, more importantly for us, is a point closer to making sure we're a Premier League club.
You've spoken so much about the importance of that moving into the new stadium. How does that set you up? It moves you up to 15th. Do you think that takes away any remaining relegation fears?
No, I wish it did. I mean, I think, but you probably wouldn't expect me to say any different. But I think that us picking up the points regular is what we've got to try and do between now and the end of the season. I think there's a group here who we can do it. We lack some quality in areas, but we've got to try and fill in at the moment. We've got quite a few injuries, but hopefully there'll be signs of one or two coming back in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So if we can do that, then hopefully we'll go over the line.
And I think that's 9 goals in your last 3 Premier League games here. Just how has that changed the mood, and how well have you harnessed the crowd to be able to get more going forward?
Well, I think like Steve and Jags especially will be able to tell you that this has never been an easy ground for anybody to come and play, but it's always a great ground if you get the crowd behind you. And maybe there's been a bit where the crowd and the players have not been quite matched up over in recent periods, and partly because of the hard times which they've had. It's been difficult for supporters here to accept it as well. But I think now there's beginning to get a growing sort of bit with the supporters and the players again, beginning to get back together. You get the crowd tonight was magnificent. It really was fantastic.
They enjoyed their celebrations in front of Steve at the end there as well. On a more negative note, unfortunately, going forward, obviously Doucouré was sent off at the end there as a second yellow card, but also earlier Iliman Ndiaye, who's been so good for you, went off. It looked quite bad, David. Can you give us an update?
Well, at the moment they're going to check. I mean, I think he went and I think he's maybe opened his knee, but we're not sure yet. That was the feeling at the time, that he'd done something to his knee. But I'm disappointed with Dukes, because we need him, and we can't afford. We're down on numbers at the moment, and even if Illy's hasn't, and we're still waiting in others to come back. So, we've got to be careful what we do. And sometimes in these games, the boys will tell you more than ever, discipline's never easy. Because of the way the game goes, and tonight was a game quite easy that sending offs could have happened.
And now you've lived it. Before you go, can you just give me one word to describe the final Merseyside derby?
One word's not enough. One word's not enough.
I was thrilled with getting a point out of the game, and I've said it before. At the moment, we're not quite ready to compete against Liverpool on the levels they are, but maybe on one-off occasions we'll be able to do it. Maybe like nights like this, but. When we move to a new stadium, I hope we can continue to give the same atmosphere and the same feeling of a difficult place to come and play.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that tonight, David. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Good
to see you, lads. Good to see you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks.
Well, again, I think it's over 700 games now that the gaffer's done and things like that. He knows exactly what to do, and at the moment things are working pretty well.
You need to be patient as well if you're Everton fans, don't you? He's done a wonderful job. He's only been in 5 games now, and he's been great. They look as if they're going to stay up if they continue in this current vein. They've got new owners, they've got a beautiful new stadium, but they need finances to attract the right type of people and bolster this team so it gets to a level where they can compete again. So you need to be patient. You need a number of transfer windows, and you hope that they're on the, they're going to start climbing the table under David Moyes. He's done a wonderful job, and let's hope that continues.
Yeah, absolutely delighted tonight with that draw.
احنا بنتهزق تهزيق السنين بجد، من عيال تعبانه اصلا، يعني هم عيال تعبانه. قتلته. بريتش معروف انه هيموت دلوقتي. خليش نفسه. بيستنوهم يجري. هو كده مات اصلا.
remaining.
نايس.
Attackers win.
حرام. عايش يا جدعان عايش.